Welcome into episode 7 of Charts and Checks, the show that takes stock of 3 of your favorite names from a fundamental, financial, and technical perspective. Apple, Oracle, and Crcl are on deck, but with 13 Fs getting released and the worst PPI since 2022, there's no shortage of topics that are worth mentioning. I am the gorilla with glasses, Don Foyani, and with me, as always, is Alvaro of the Bilingual Stock Market channel. We are your hosts. We're happy you're here. Alvaro, where do you want to begin?
Wow.
Yeah.
What's up, folks? So, what a day, man. It's impressive. Had you told me yesterday, I don't know, at 9 p.m., before I went to bed, that today the PPI was going to reflect an increase month over month of 0.9%, and that the S&P 500 was going to close the session in positive territory, I wouldn't have believed you. To be honest with you, it was nothing. It was nothing short of extraordinary.
I totally agree.
Yeah, and after hours we have Michael Burry and Warren Buffett and a lot of big guys buying UNH and Michael Burry buying Meta. What do you think about that?
Let's double click on what you just mentioned here. We have the worst PPI inflation reading, which is a leading indicator of inflation, a leading indicator, the worst in 3 years, and the S&P closed positive. Do you have any theories as to why that is?
It's a bull market. Buy the dip.
It's a bull market. Not bad.
I mean, the IWM got hit,
got hammered,
which was it was logical. It's super sensitive through interest rates, but I mean, regardless of that, it's impressive. The behavior of the market today was very impressive.
So let me.
We almost made a new all-time highs after having had the worst inflation report in 3 years. Impressive, very impressive.
You're totally correct in that it's a bull market, but let me try this take on you here. Mm-hmm. I think this is the market telling you they think this is one time. They're viewing tariffs as transitory. If the market believed that this PPI was real and was going to have lasting impacts, this would have been a down 2-3% day for the S&P. The small caps would have been down 5. The stock market's telling you they think this is an aberrant number, and there were some weird things in the PPI, like wealth management services were up 4 or 5%, which really just tracks the stock market. So, but even when you take that out, it was still a very toasty number. I'm honestly shocked at the resilience and the willingness of this market, in my opinion, to view these tariff impacts as transitory.
Yeah, depending on what ends up happening with the tariffs. If they remain low, it might be transitory. If we go on full tariff mode, such as the crazy tariffs that were announced in April, this would be a whole different story. But we'll see about that. Yeah,
I think that's clearly off the table. Let me pose you a second question. How much patience do you think the stock market's going to have for this? Like how many months? Is it just one, or is it how much time do you think the bulls are gonna give this before they are like, you know what, we were wrong. It's not transitory. We got to reconsider.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I don't trust these reports either way. When they come below estimates or above estimates, I think that this data is cooked. But probably the next PPI is going to be lower, I guess.
Hold on. We're in a very interesting political climate. When you say the data is cooked, elaborate.
Neither the PPI nor the CPI, they are not measuring inflation accurately.
Intentionally? Or
intentionally. Oh yeah.
Wait, you think there are people in the government that are fudging the numbers?
Yeah, it's been the case.
Okay.
In my opinion, from a historical standpoint, yeah, I don't trust these reports at all. Either way. Reason. Above estimates, below estimates. I think that all of this data is cooked, but it is what it is. And the way that inflation has been measured has been changing over time. So we didn't have. I mean, if you read the formula that is being used in order to measure inflation, you wouldn't believe it. No one understands what they are measuring. This is impressive.
I'm familiar with those concepts. Here's what I would say to maybe take a little bit of cynicism out of that take. Because I appreciate the fact that you said that it's more of a formulaic thing. The reason I wanted you to elaborate is because some people view that as Trump is cooking the data or Biden affiliates are cooking the data to look a certain way, and that's not what you mean. What I think happened, and this is something I heard once. I think it deserves more time. What if Doge actually had an impact in gutting some of these agencies, and for the first time in a while, they're actually understaffed? And when you put that in combination with the fact that survey-based data, which all of this is, has been on the decline response rate since COVID, you could argue that, since 2020, the data hasn't been as good as it was. It's declining in quality. And now you have a smaller workforce trying to deal with that problem.
Yeah, I mean,
here's my solution. We need more private data. Like, I think this might be a weird moment.
yeah, I would leave this definitely to the private sector.
Well,
I agree on that with you.
Does this mean that ADP is now going to become more important than payrolls in the future?
I pay more attention to the ADP payrolls relative to the non-firm. Yeah, that's my case.
All right, I think we've discussed enough of the nature of survey-based data. Where do we want to hop in here? That was a good hot intro there.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Tomorrow we have the retail sales report coming out, and we'll see about the rate cut depending on the CPI that is coming out next month, core PCE at the end of this month. We'll see what happens.
Where do you want to jump?
So we have Michael Burry buying Meta. That was eye-catching,
Pull that up for you.
to say the least. Do you have the purchases?
I do.
Yeah. Shut out, please. Shut down, please.
Share something else.
Okay. What do you think about these purchases of the Big Bear, Michael Burry? I don't think that he doesn't sound very bearish, right?
No, and I had to hand my hat off to him. Most bears don't know when it's time to become bullish. If you're buying Meta and Lululemon, I mean, Lulu's been beat to shit.
Correct. He's a value investor, but he sees value in Meta with this stock trading at all-time highs.
Correct. Let me see. Where is even though it's at all-time highs, Meta is still relatively inexpensive for what it's growing at.
Yeah, from a valuation standpoint and comparing.
Here to me is the craziest thing about his UNH purchase. If I'm reading this right, it is now 20% of his portfolio, or 18.88. Am I reading that correctly?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
See, that to me is a huge bet. I mean, he's probably just betting on the fact. I mean, I don't know. Is it down?
How
much is it down?
I don't know. I mean, UNH is, I don't know, like 50% of the highs. I can pull up the chart if you want. So the thing is that he's a value investor. So he buys stocks when he sees low multiples. I see it that's the way that I see it.
No, that's fair.
I mean,
okay, so the 52-week high was 630.
Yeah, take a look now. It got to be 55% of the highs, of all-time highs.
So let's assume that I'm reading after hours at 293. Let's just assume that closes. Let's assume that we open tomorrow at that level.
But mind you, Dan, Warren Buffett also purchased. Berkshire Hathaway is behind UNH now. They just disclosed the position. You also have the purchases over there as well.
You want me to pull that up
now? It's good old.
Is there anything else we want to talk about with Barry?
Meta.
Meta, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean that is eye-catching. Barry is not expecting a super market crash. It's very obvious. Otherwise, you wouldn't be buying Meta at 700.
There's a lot of really great things going on at Meta, like outside of advertising, but it's still core advertising business. If you think that we're going to go into a recession, the first thing to get cut is your advertising budget. And while I would argue that Meta probably would get the lion's share of what's left of everyone's advertising budget, you're still going to see compression there. Him buying Meta is indicative he doesn't see a recession, at least not immediately.
And I would also say, and this is a discussion that I have been having with the bears. I don't know, like since a year ago. Meta is not an expensive stock. It isn't. No. It is not. It is not an expensive stock. That's why Burry is buying it. Can it go down 10, 15, 20%? Of course.
Of course it can.
Of course it can. But as of now, this is not an expensive stock. If you compare the multiples that Meta is trading as of now in the markets relative to its most recent commercial execution, this is not an expensive stock whatsoever. It isn't. That's why Burry is buying Meta. Can Meta go down to $700, $650 if we have a correction? Of course it can. It's a volatile stock, okay? But it's not an expensive stock. And Michael Burry
it's not.
I
It
agree
is
with
a
us.
value stock, but it's still growing. It is GARP,
At
growth
a
at a reasonable
very
price. People
rapid
would like that.
pace. It is growing at a very rapid pace.
All
It's
right,
a
let's
phenomenal
talk
company.
about. Oh, sorry, wrong one. Let's just talk about
Yeah,
Bill
but take a look
Ackman.
at that, man.
Like,
Ackman.
yeah,
So
we'll look at Ackman first.
he added Google, which is
Makes
okay,
sense. Yeah.
correct. Oh, he added Hertz.
Oh, hold on.
He's been bumping Hertz.
Hold on, Alvaro. I know it said he added 20% to Google there, and maybe that is the correct thing, but he also owns the
21%.
Google Class C shares. I mean, it's still a
Correct.
big ad. Together, it is now 15% of his portfolio, but it was at 8 before.
Hey. He purchased. He bought Amazon
He's still holding on to Chipotle. That's incredible.
for the Chipotle Bulls. I agree with that.
That's so
That's
sad.
okay.
So sad.
He didn't throw in the towel. What do you think about the Amazon purchase?
I think that makes sense. I hope that it's a read that he agrees with me that the AWS weakness was more about not having as much AI generated revenue
but-
than say like an Azure.
But then
And-
when you say AWS weakness, so revenue keeps growing on a sequential basis. I don't see any weakness there. I see the markets, I don't know, like
Well-
being too demanding with Amazon because Microsoft killed it on Azure. So, but I don't necessarily would agree with that on that
Well,
weakness.
you know my take. I don't think that it had anything to do with market share gain or loss. I just think it has to do with the fact that the people using Azure, the way that that revenue is generated through, you basically when you have an AI request, it's through tokens. There's like the AI tokens, and that's how they generate revenue. It's on a per token, per use basis. I think Microsoft is further along in that revenue cycle than say Amazon is with AWS. I don't think it has anything to do with some sort of market share creep where people that are on AWS are switching to Azure.
Correct.
I saw Amazon's quarter and I liked it. In fact, after the quarter, I went to your Discord and I called out on my blog that I took some of the cash from my regret minimization pile and put it right to work.
Yeah.
So I think
It went on a
Amazon was
tear today,
great
by the
value
way.
down there.
Yeah, and the chart is looking very good as of now. And I think that Bill Ackman, the snake, Bill Ackman, he's pumping. He's still pumping Hertz. So that should be a stock that we
That's funny.
should be keeping an eye on tomorrow because.
Well, that's another one. It's such a small flyer position. I don't know if he's playing some sort of financial arbitrage or there's something he sees that other people don't. But it's such a small position that it leads me to believe it might not really have anything to do with a call on the travel economy.
Correct. Yeah, but retail traders and investors. So this is like breaking news. Oh, Bill Ackman added more Hertz and stuff like that. Let's try to force another gamma squeeze. That could be an interesting stock tomorrow. Yeah, and finally we have Buffett. Do you have the
one last thing about Ackman? He didn't add to it, but he's kept all of his Uber.
Yeah, correct. He didn't touch the position. That is correct.
All right.
Correct. Still bullish.
Going to share something else. We're going to talk now about Buffett.
Buffett. Do you have the purchases? It was interesting.
Is this it?
He reduced Apple a bit, which is the first stock that we will be reviewing in the pad today. So look, not much, 6%, still a big position for
it's still his
Hathaway,
biggest
right?
position, 22%. For what it's worth, though, he is supposed to step down at the end of this year. So I don't know if this is him or the person. It sucks that I forgot his name. They already have named the replacement. They expect him to be approved. This could just be more of that.
What do you make about the fact that he didn't touch American Express, but he did reduce Bank of America?
They're two completely different things. American Express, in my opinion, is
High-end
the best.
consumer?
Well, right. Well, it's not just that. It's the best of Visa and MasterCard, or the best of the card space. You have this growing cohort of people in Gen Z and millennials that view American Express as a status symbol to have the platinum card. It has a unique moat. Oh, sorry. Louis, you okay?
That's fine.
Sorry, my dog just started coughing up something.
No, that's fine.
Yeah. It has a unique moat that other companies in general just don't seem to have. And in my opinion, you don't need travel to necessarily work for American Express to keep working, because I think once people have their American Express card, it's a flex to pull it out and use it. And a lot of the perks that you unlock with American Express are based on spending thresholds. So you don't necessarily need people to be booking first class tickets
Yeah.
for American Express revenues to keep coming in.
Yeah. American Express has been killing it. So
Yeah,
that's okay.
he's been
He
reducing
also
Bank of
purchased.
America for the past 2 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And
whatever.
he's been reducing his exposure to Bank of America. So there's nothing new over there. And he also purchased United Health. So you had Michael Burry, David Tepper, by the way, which is also a very big fund manager, adding UNH, and now Buffett.
Well,
So
UNH,
we'll see what
that's a
happens.
small position.
Yeah, but from a symbolic standpoint, he did purchase UNH, so
I mean, he also added, he let me see, UNH position, he bought 5 million shares for, what is that, a billion, 1.5 billion?
yeah.
Okay. I mean,
And
no, that's a lot of money. It's not nothing.
yeah. Yeah.
Interestingly, what do you think of the Constellation Brands purchase? I think that's more interesting.
Yeah, I think that's a very tariff sensitive company. I think that Buffett believes that the insanity that we saw in early April with tariffs, with the government going nuts on tariffs, is that situation is pretty much in the rearview mirror. Is behind us. That's why he's purchasing Constellation Brands, in
Looks
my
like
opinion.
he also put a combination. It says he bought DR Horton and Lamar. Sorry, DR
Lennar.
Horton and Lamar,
So
two
home
home
builders.
builders.
Yeah,
And that's like the high end and the low end. For it looks
correct.
like 200 million in DHI, 1.5 and oh, that's Lamar Advertising. I thought that was a Lennar. Excuse me.
Oh,
Excuse
okay.
me. Excuse
Okay.
me. My
So,
bad.
I
Oh,
mistook
he
you.
also bought Lennar. It's higher up there.
Correct.
About 800 million, if I'm reading that right. Okay, yeah, no, that
I would say that he wouldn't that he hadn't backed Lennar had he known that the PPI today was going to come out at 0.9% month over month.
Clearly, he has a couple of we'll
Yeah.
call them interest rate cut flyers. Yeah,
I mean, yeah, he's buying home builders, so
Yeah,
that's a
interest rate cut
super
flyers,
sensitive.
baby.
Correct. Yeah, correct. Yeah. Apple. So he reduced his position. Let's go over Apple.
sure thing. All right,
There you go.
Pull up some.
Awesome. I have a position. Full disclosure.
I don't.
So I think that
That's
we
not a
have
big deal.
higher prices coming up for Apple, more
right.
likely than not. There you
I
go.
wanna
What you
start
got
the
there?
con- I
Shut
agree
down.
with you.
Okay.
I want to start the conversation about what we talked about Apple in an earlier edition of the podcast, and I debuted something I called the AI5. This is the Mag 7 year to date on July 28th. Oh, well, I messed that up in the thing. It's not 2035, 2025. Bear with me.
That's fine.
This was where I talked about how the only two Mag 7 companies negative year to date were Apple and Tesla. And the theory was that
Correct.
you need an AI strategy for the market to reward you. All right, so I've updated this to today.
Okay.
Apple is still negative year to date, but it's clearly making a run back, and it's on route to go ahead and go positive. So I'm going to show you now a year to date chart of Apple with some candlesticks and the 200-day moving average.
Correct. There was a big level, super key level.
You see the chart here?
Yeah, I can see it, of course.
Okay, so
Clear
what did you
breakout
think-
of the 200-day moving average. Correct.
Yes, 200-day.
200-day moving average. Correct.
So I have here, I just want to get the timeline straight because I said during the AI5 discussion that I thought Apple needed an AI strategy to start working. But the timeline of events here has me believing that is no longer the case. So we had the earnings. And what did you think of the earnings? You're the financial guy, the execution guy. Give me a quick brief on that.
The company isn't growing anymore as it did it before, but we had a bit of, and this was admitted by the company. We had, put forward on tariffs, and that kind of boosted a bit, the sequential growth of revenue. But other than that, I mean, this company cannot justify its current multiples, based on the most recent commercial execution. So, but again, so in the case of Apple, and this belongs to you, so this is the part that you understand better than me. So the markets are waiting for Apple to do something artificial intelligence related. And it looks like it's coming, and that's why the stock is going up. So I think that's a reason why, aside from the fact that we had a very clear technical breakout, above that 200-day moving average. But yeah, I think that the markets are trying to are trying to do a front running of a potential artificial intelligence announcement. That do you think that is likely to occur anytime soon?
I think the external pressure to do that is real, but I don't see Apple giving in. I circled that breakout, like where it had that action with the 200-day for a reason. Do you remember what happened that day?
The day that Apple burst above the 200
Yeah.
DMA, yeah, I mean, Tim Cook went to the White House and got a
What did he
deal.
do? No. What did he do to the White? What did he do? What did he do?
He promised. No. I mean, the government said that Apple is going to be investing $600 billion in the US, which is a lie. And they gave President Trump a gift that is worth $1 million or something like that. So,
Well,
yeah.
he basically gave him a plaque that was made from glass made in the United States with a 24 karat basin that you're right. I think that was $1 million worth of gold.
It was no, but literally, bro, a $1
No, we're not.
million
Yes,
dollar
for
whatever
anyone,
that
for
is.
anyone listening, we're not kidding. It was literally in $1 million plus gift to the White House or to the president. I'm not sure if he's going to leave that at the Oval
Yeah, of
when
course.
when he leaves. So in my mind, it was that moment. It was Tim Cook bending the knee and paying the teeth to the White House that caused the breakout. And in my mind, what that signaled to me was that the market's willing to reinvest, or sorry, the market is willing to reallocate and rebuild their Apple positions if they believe that Apple is going to get a tariff exemption.
Correct.
And the market took that White House summit as Tim Cook basically paying $1 million to $2 million in a gift to avoid billions in tariff issues. In my opinion, the recent action in Apple is indicative that the market is okay with Apple so long as it believes that tariffs are not going to be targeted.
But don't you think? So I happen to agree with you on that 100%. But you still need artificial intelligence.
Here's the thing. We had the breakout without it.
Okay, but what about all-time highs? So Apple
Here's the
was
thing.
about to turn a $4 trillion company. When was
Alvaro,
Okay.
real quick. I see what you're getting at, and I agree in theory. But the market is telling us that it might not be necessary. If you're an Apple bull, you know that management has an ability to wait for whatever the new technology is to actually be ready for prime time and then either make their own or integrate it into their product line. If you are an Apple bull, you're like, okay, the short-term issue of the tariffs is no longer an issue, and they still got all the money in the world to buy an AI partner when the time is right. We don't need to know when that time is. We'll just buy up the stock as if it's going to happen.
But don't you think that time is running out for Apple? Like the markets are getting like more antsy
No,
for an artificial intelligence
no,
announcement?
I think that in general, sure, but if you're an Apple shareholder, I feel like you're just like they'll get to it when they get to it. No pressure.
So I say that because if you take a look at the year-over-year revenue growth, it is 10%. So I mean, and the stock has a price to sales. I think that the price of sales got to be somewhere around 10. So the
But
valuation is
Apple
expensive. So
Apple has always been expensive.
yeah, 8. So yeah, I mean, it has a price of sales of almost 9. I think that the multiples, and yeah, of course, this is my personal opinion. I think that the multiples will demand Apple to show something artificial intelligence related. I would say like sooner rather than later. That's what I perceive, right?
We've been talking about AI since 2023 for the mega caps 2024. Really, it's been a year, almost 2, where Apple's been coals to the fire. If you're Tim Cook,
But do you believe that this company has been innovating? Don't you think that the innovation is gone?
say again?
Do you think that this company has kept innovating?
No, of course not.
Correct. So we need either
Alvaro.
a super brand new product
Alvaro.
that amazes everyone, or we need artificial intelligence, in my opinion.
Alvaro, this company hasn't innovated in 10 years.
Yeah,
Why does it need to happen tomorrow?
because we are in this artificial intelligence race, and they need
I
to.
just disagree. I don't think Apple is going to suffer a re-rating downward because of a lack of an AI strategy. I thought that at the beginning of the year, but the stock market is telling me that might not be necessary.
Yeah. So in my case, I think that the net aggregate opinion of the market, which is very favorable to Apple as of now because the chart is looking bullish, is expecting Apple to do something AI related sooner rather than later. So do you see Apple at all-time highs without announcing anything AI related?
I can see it. So let me tell you how it happens. Let me tell you how it happens, and then I want to throw you a question.
Okay.
Everyone got so bearish in Apple, like institutions. All of a sudden, they've gone from negative to either neutral or positive.
Bullish
and they need to rebuild. They need to rebuild that position. You could have, and then on top of that, Apple still has a buyback. You could see institutions and buybacks steadily pull this thing back up to the all-time highs without any AI announcement. Now, don't get me wrong. If there's some sort of negative catalyst for Apple that has to do with tariffs, then I think the pressure to do something in AI goes up. But right now, if you're Tim Cook, you probably feel pretty good about the way you've managed everything because you have the ultimate cash pile to do whatever you want. And
it's a cash
you have
cow,
the tariff
100%.
monkey off your back for the time being.
Yeah, that was super important. Yeah. So
the question I have for you, Alvaro.
Okay.
And you can throw this at me because I have to be fair about this. When I'm bearish about something, I do this to myself. I give myself a timeline to be right. What does Apple stock need to do to prove to you that it doesn't need an AI strategy to work?
Making a brand new all-time highs without any artificial intelligence announcement. Yeah.
No, all right. Yeah.
And I am long the stock as of now.
Okay.
So I am long the stock, but I mean, I don't necessarily see the all-time highs happening before they make an announcement. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Maybe you get away with this. That's okay.
I mean, dude, I'm not long the stock, and it infuriates me because I don't think Apple is the. I don't think Apple deserves the valuation that it has.
Yeah. So let me pull up here a technical chart of Apple, and I'll show you. So I'm just I am long.
We got to get through this though.
Yeah. So I am long the stock, and this is Crcl, which we are about to talk about. I mean, based on technical reasons, the chart looks very good. It is trading above all the moving averages, above a rising 5 DMA. So I think that Apple consolidates above $230, and it can keep going higher. And the next potential gap to the upside could be $240. So I am long the stock because it looks very bullish. But I didn't necessarily see, 260. And mind you, did you know that for Apple to become a $4 trillion company, it needs to go up to 264. So maybe I don't know, maybe this company becomes a $4 trillion company without making any artificial intelligence announcement. We'll see about that. The chart looks good. I think that we have higher prices coming up for Apple.
And I'll be honest with you, Alvaro. I don't quite trade as nimbly as you do, as most people probably have ascertained by now. But if this thing retests the 200-day or the 150-day, both are in the ballpark of 220.
220, 221.
If it retests, I might take a flyer on it. Why not? I love the idea of you basically have the institutional and company buyback providing a put option on the stock. Because there are companies that are going to need to chase this thing if it continues. And companies, managers, institutions, whatever. They're not going to want to show that they're underweight Apple in a tape where Apple goes back to an all-time high.
You can't.
Yeah, so we'll pivot to Crcl then, or Crcl?
Crcl. Let's do Crcl. It's getting annihilated. Did you look at the report?
I did.
It was a good report. It was a good report.
Impressive report.
It was already baked in. We can say maybe, but
maybe So for those of you that don't know exactly what Crcl does, they're the hit makers that make USDC. It's a stable coin. What they do is they take fiat currency from customers around the world, whether it be dollars, Mexican dollars, pesos, euros, whatever. They take that money and invest it in U.S. treasuries to track the dollar. Therefore, Crcl's revenue is directly tied to the interest rate on short-term treasuries. So this thing would actually get crushed in a tape, or should get crushed in a tape, where you don't think rate cuts are as likely. The counter argument is that adoption of Crcl, like people pooling money into USDC, will outpace the slowing or the gradual decline in the Fed funds rate and short-term interest rates. I'm not really sure which way the market is going to go. because the growth that Crcl reported in their quarter and their guidance
This is
was
insane.
It was
Absolutely insane. 600% year-over-year revenue growth. Unbelievable.
in my opinion, and
Insane,
also
brother.
for what it's worth, if I remember, the stock opened up 7% that day.
Yeah, so the markets initially liked the report. Correct.
I think what
Or at least the algos liked the report.
well, right, the algos. I think the
Yeah.
quarter got sold because as more data came out and it became kind of more or less clear that we might be getting these rate cuts, the market no longer believed the guidance.
Okay.
And I think that might be why. So we'll have to see how it continues because today it was definitely more of a I don't really know. Like we were in my opinion, Crcl really shouldn't have
Today
been
we
down
had
so
a
much
so
today.
today we had a risk of day. Obviously,
Right.
I mean, so,
So
the
we'll
the markets went up because obviously only a few stocks went up. If you take a look at the general breadth of the market today, most stocks went down, but we had Nvidia going up and AMD going up and Meta going up and Amazon going up, and that was enough. So the
Yes.
NDX closed pretty much flat, and I think that the S&P 500 had a positive day. In general terms, most stocks out there today went down, and Crcl wasn't an
Was in the
exception
down column.
to the rule. We had a risk of day, and most higher multiple stocks, which is the case of Crcl, went down. But the chart doesn't look good. I think
Pull it up, baby.
that this dip is very likely to end up being bought up. So let me put up here my chart. There you go.
I
Let's go
think
see.
the best case scenario for Crcl is we get 25 bip cuts at a gradual pace so that the market can get comfortable with Crcl reporting quarters where the interest rate they're getting on their investments is lower, but the amount of money, the growth in USD assets ends up offsetting that. They're going to grow the USD asset base by so much, it's going to outpace the gradual decline in rates. But if you get a 50 basis point cut and all of a sudden they go from making 4.5, 4.25 to 375, 350, it might be too steep a drop.
And I think that
growth in the asset.
Yeah, and I think that we talked about this on Saturday, on the live pad that we did. So they're not. So Crcl doesn't have a lot of competitors, right, Dan? It's like
No, none publicly traded.
correct,
I mean, you could say that Tether is one.
correct.
There might be 3 or 4 other smaller ones, but none is well known. USDC might be the biggest and the most transparent.
And aside from that, so we have a government that is pumping cryptocurrencies. I think that this more likely than not, because I never speak in absolute terms, ends up being bought up. The chart looks ugly. So below the 20-day moving average, the 5 DMA was broken today to the downside. 121, this is a previous level of resistance that could potentially now act in as support.
You would expect that to be support. Yeah.
Yeah, correct. 121 breaks, and over here we have another potential level of support at $100. $100 is a fat number that is coinciding with the previous level of support. Would you be willing to buy this dip at any of these levels? 120,
Yeah, I would.
100?
I love taking flyers on high growth technology companies when they get slammed, cut 30, cut 40, cut 50%. It's never a huge position, and I never try to bottom tick. But if 1 week it touches 125 or 10, was that 102, 100?
Yeah, 100. The first one, 120. Previous resistance, and the other one is 100.
You know
Previous
how I
support.
am. I'm not trying to top tick or bottom tick. I'll wait for it to touch there, and then I'll buy it back when the 5 and 13 day give me a bullish crossover and it's a little bit higher.
Correct.
And then I'll just trade it back up to, in this case, probably up to 200. That looks like a pretty easy place for the stock to rebound to.
The 200 you said? No, we didn't have a. What you said? Sorry, then I didn't.
No, the chart's gone. Sorry.
Yeah, the chart's gone. You were talking about. No, we didn't have a 200-day moving average yet
No,
because
no,
this
no,
is
no, no.
still.
I'm saying the literal price level 200.
200. Yeah, I mean, you
It
need.
just looks like it.
I mean, you need to recapture the 5 and the 20-day moving average first. So.
If you get the 5 and the 13 day crossing over, you've already got the 5.
Yeah, I mean, I would rather wait for the stock. Let me share my screen again. Hold.
Yeah.
I would rather seeing buyers step in and pushing price up.
Yeah, of
So
course.
ideally, we should wait until the 5 is recaptured, 156. before we start a position, but I think that this crypto hype will keep going, and I wouldn't be surprised if this stock bounces from 120 or $100.
You're again,
possible.
you are much more nimble than I am. You're willing to like get in and get out in a day. I like to like if I'm considering this, I'm viewing it from like a 1 to 3 month thing, which isn't much longer, but it's significantly longer than a day. I'm never gonna try to get like, okay, I think the bottom's 100. Let me put my limit order in. I'm
Yeah,
gonna
but
wait for it to hit 100, and then I'm going to wait till it gets from 100 goes to 105 because until this thing has a green day, it could be a falling knife.
correct. But check this out, man. Look at, this is a growth company, a growth stock. Take a look at this. So, revenue, $658 million. This represents a 600% year over year revenue growth. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So, this company was making then back in, let me show you. So, back in early 2024, $365 million
With an M.
on Q1 of 2024. Now this company is making $658 million. The revenue growth is ultra exponential. Take a look at this chart. It's impressive.
In theory,
And this is the only thing that matters as of now. This is a growth stock. So because take a look. So they posted a loss. So net income came out negative. They posted a loss of $482 million after having had 3 quarters in a row making a profit. In my opinion, this doesn't matter. This doesn't matter. I mean, this company, this is a growth company. So as long as the company keeps growing, the markets will not be very picky about the net income and the free cash flow and stuff like that.
No, when you're growing at 600% quarter over quarter, the market's like you'll figure out the net income thing later, but eventually it has to matter. And here's what I mean by that: this shouldn't be a super high expense business. What Crcl is doing. So I don't know at what point the market's going to be like, okay, when are you going to make money? But here's the thing: I don't know when the market's going to feel that way.
And take a look at this. If you take a look at the expectations of the analysts that are covering this company as of now, take a look at the expected year-over-year revenue growth for 2027, 38%. Nobody is expecting the demand for whatever Crcl does that we know, that they're doing stable coins. That's their main business model. So no one is expecting this business to stop growing until at least 2027. 38% of year-over-year revenue growth expected for 2027. So I think this dip gets bought up. On top of that, we have a government that is pumping cryptocurrencies. So let's see. Maybe it bounces off 100 or 120 bucks. I would rather see in the bulls recapturing the 5 DMA, but we'll see. What's next,
Oracle.
my dear friend?
Oracle?
Oracle, yeah, let's go Oracle. Awesome.
Okay, yeah. So they're positioning them for those that maybe aren't as up to date on the last 2 years of Oracle as a company, because it really has changed with the AI revolution. They're positioning themselves to be both a builder of AI infrastructure and a provider of the software. So on the hardware side, they have what's called Oracle Cloud Infrastructure, very clever with their name, or OCI. This is the branch that is part of that Project Stargate, the multi-billion-dollar, maybe even $500 billion project with OpenAI and SoftBank. Yeah, SoftBank. This arm directly competes with AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud Services. The software side is basically they're trying. It's hard for me to understand because I'm still not exactly sure what the software side of AI is beyond just generative AI. But what they're trying to do is make AI blueprints to help companies optimize data they have for use for AI workloads on their hardware. At the end of the day, they're trying to become a full stack, sticky hardware software for AI, compete with the AWSs, the Googles, the Azures. And I didn't realize this. They're almost a $700 billion market cap. Like, they're not nothing.
Yeah, there could be
there's
a
no reason
$1 trillion company
$1 trillion.
soon. Yeah.
No reason.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah,
But
100%.
the downside is the same as everything else. There's a lot of spending that goes into this infrastructure stuff. They are one of the hyperscalers that's writing these checks that you would expect a sovereign nation to write to
So,
Nvidia to get this stuff done. But they're doing
yeah.
everything right, and the market's rewarding them.
So, but you know that now we have, as of now, we have like some sort of narrative that says that a lot of software companies will be disrupted by artificial intelligence itself.
Yep.
So, wouldn't you think that Oracle could be a victim of artificial intelligence?
By
Because they are killing. I mean,
so
Salesforce is a disaster. They are killing Snowflake. They are annihilating cybersecurity companies. So would you say that maybe Oracle could be exempted from that situation?
that's a fantastic question. I think the answer is yes, because they're not purely a software company. They're also doing hardware.
There you go.
The OCI is AI infrastructure. It's the Stargate project with OpenAI and the government. They're not just software. And to piggyback on what you said, because it is important people understand this, the reason that some of these software companies, like Salesforce, even some of the cybersecurity names, I think the cybersecurity names are getting thrown out unfairly. They're just being tossed in the software bucket. But your Monday.com, your Workday.
Oh,
your
that was a
Salesforce,
disaster. Did you see that? Unbelievable. That thing
It's
went down
terrible.
30%. Unbelievable. On a
The
Monday,
reason
by the way.
is- the reason
They
is,
should report on Fridays. I don't know.
well, we'll see. I think it's going to be really difficult for Salesforce to put up a set of numbers that's going to dissuade the market from the current consensus. But the issue is that if you're Salesforce works best when there's a lot of hiring and job formation and company creation in the
Bingo.
economy because they can sell more Salesforce licenses.
So the share was looking ugly. That's a very good point that you're bringing up. So the share was looking ugly. But when we got the last jobs report, the stock, I mean, it just couldn't stop going down because
No.
the business model of Salesforce is very cyclical. So it depends a lot on the jobs market. That's a very good point, Dan.
Maybe the worst is priced in, and we'll find out when they report. But the scary thing is for Salesforce, let's just say we remain in this firing stasis for the next year. It's unlikely, probably impossible.
That's an uncertain scenario, so not good.
Let's just pretend.
Not good for Salesforce, correct?
Well, not just that. Companies are, and we've seen it from Palantir, we've seen it from Amazon, we've seen it from a couple other companies. They're cutting workforce because AI is allowing them to.
Correct.
Those are seats.
Microsoft, Meta.
Yeah, those are seats that used to pay Salesforce per employee. They're going to have their review and like, hey, we don't have 1,000 employees anymore. We got 800. That's a 20%
Less revenue
revenue
for Salesforce, correct? Yeah, correct.
So
correct.
it's not just the fact that there's not a lot of hiring. It's the fact that there's actually downsizing
Correct,
from some of their
correct.
biggest customers. I would not want to be in that software bucket. And just to complete the thought, the reason I think cybersecurity is being unfairly tossed out is because those cybersecurity companies have pricing power, and there is never going to be a moment. They're also not charging by the seat,
In which you
generally
can-
speaking.
Correct.
You're never going to cut that budget. It's just never going to.
That's a super important expense. Okay. Do you have a position on Oracle? Would you buy it
I
here?
don't. I feel like I missed
No.
it. But
Let me-
if I get a dip,
Chart down. Let me pull up the chart. So let me show you
actually,
my
those
thoughts.
might be the most bullish words ever said. I might have missed it. Means I haven't missed it.
No,
Means I'm going to keep missing it.
So the last earnings report was fantastic, phenomenal, unbelievable, crazy. So I was trading the stock in and out, and I stopped trading Oracle recently. It broke the 5 DMA to the downside, also the 20. So we can obviously make a case that if the bulls recapture the 5 DMA and the 20-day moving average, say that we see a bit of consolidation above $289, $250. This is obviously a bullish development. If that were the case, say that we see Oracle consolidating above 250. Maybe we can see all-time highs once again, a test at least of all-time highs to 60. I would be a buyer for sure, my dear friend Don Foyani, if this thing keeps going down and pays a visit down to this rising 50-day moving average, $226, coinciding with a previous support back from mid-July and a previous resistance back from late June. I am a buyer of Oracle. You can mark my words at $228 in regular market conditions, of course, right?
Sure.
Would I go long above 250? Maybe. But I am really rooting for this pullback down to the rising 50 DMA, $226. So
If I got an opportunity to buy a 228, 230, I would again, regular market conditions, I would have to probably bite a little bit. It's a $700 billion company that is competing with companies that are 1 trillion, 2 trillion in Microsoft's case. Is Microsoft 3 or 4 trillion now?
Microsoft is almost 4 trillion.
Almost 4 trillion.
Yeah, of course,
I just feel like it would just be odd if a competitor of Oracle's size with the growth that they have didn't make the $1 trillion market cap level. And if you're at 689 billion, that's 30+% upside.
Yeah, a lot. And take a look at this, Dan. This is super interesting. Take a look at the revenue.
Yep.
At the sequential revenue of Oracle. Take a look at because the growth of Oracle's revenue was absolutely tanked. Take a look until 2022. Once this new industry of artificial intelligence started to go. Let's just put it that way. Take a look at how finally, thanks to artificial intelligence, Oracle's revenue is growing once again. And on Q2 of this year, this company posted a record revenue of $15.9 billion. You can see it, right? Take a look.
Yeah, no, I can see it.
No revenue growth during many years. And then in 2022, artificial intelligence came around, and take a look. What a difference it makes, right? Exponential, 100%.
It was before AI, it was just GDP kind of growth. It was just growing with the economy.
Correct, exactly.
You gotta tip your hat to the CEO at the helm, Safra Catz. She's an all-star, underappreciated in the CEO space. I know we all like to talk about Lisa Su, and it's deserved, but Safra Catz doing this with a company the size of Oracle is really something special. So hats off to her. Great management.
Correct. And take a look. Net income, $3.4 billion. And take a look at how steady the net income is. Take a look at this. So this is a company that is growing from a revenue standpoint, but aside from that, is kind of predictable from a net income standpoint. So I would be a buyer of that dip, as I said, near.
As long as the margins stay in there, yeah, absolutely.
29% profit margin, super solid. Let me double check on that. Yeah, the profit margin is 21%. Super steady, 22, 22, 24, 20, 21. But make no mistakes, Dan. If the revenue that this company is making keeps growing the way that it's been growing during the last 3 years, that net income is going to start to take off eventually.
Well, on top of that, this stock doesn't have tariff risk.
Zero as of now.
So you don't really got to worry about that.
Yeah. And the CEO of the company loves dating sub-21 girls. Did you know that?
Wait, what?
The CEO?
What about
the owner of the company? Yeah. Larry Ellison.
No, Safra Catz is the CEO of Oracle.
Well, so Larry Ellison is a super important executive in the company.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
I know who you're talking about. But
he's very famous because of doing that. I don't endorse that behavior.
Is that when he got kicked off then? Because she hasn't been. She's been the. I think Safra Catz is the CEO since.
Have you seen the pictures of his girlfriends?
No. We're not.
They look.
Talking to, no.
Okay. Let's move on.
All right.
What comes next?
We're at the 48-minute mark. Do we want to talk CoreWeave?
Yes, we do. Quickly.
Okay, quickly.
Technicals at least.
Pull it up, and I'll talk.
Okay, let me pull it up. Okay. So let me ask you a question. In your opinion, are they going to buy this dip?
So that is what.
Can I give you my opinion?
Yeah.
98% chance this dip ends up being bought up.
But
the story behind this company is too sexy.
Where?
Oh, I mean, that's a question. That's a $1 million question. I mean,
so here's what I see. Well, let me talk about the quarter.
Okay.
The revenue is fantastic. The margins
Impressive.
not so much. But in my opinion, when you're growing revenue like this, you'll figure out the margins. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, this was a good quarter. I know that sounds crazy based on what the stock said, but it's a young growth company. It's growing. That's the whole point. But the sell-off to me has to do with the fact that you got that quarter, it's sold off, and then people realized that Insider lockup periods were
They
about
had
to expire.
a lot of insider
So had
sales,
this
yeah.
had this company stayed afloat, had it not had a down 10, down 15, like I felt like it just built on it because it opened up down 10 and then ended the day down 20 on the same news. And I think the thought that was going through people's mind was that, oh, down 10, next week insiders are going to get or their lockup's going to expire. They're going to sell even more. Had the
Correct.
stock held itself, I don't think you would have had that same thought to the same magnitude. So for me, I am going to wait until
and
we see that lockup period expire.
at the end of the day, what do? They lease equipment, right? For data centers.
They are basically renting AI infrastructure
Correct.
at NVIDIA grade level.
Go figure.
Well, it makes sense. Not every single company can afford to have their own data center or afford to be with the likes of AWS. Or sorry, that's not the right customer base. Excuse me. Not everyone can afford to set up their own data center. This will allow a company in the 490 or maybe the S&P 100 to take full advantage of an NVIDIA level AI infrastructure that they wouldn't have access to otherwise. But 62% of the business is Microsoft.
Correct.
And in my opinion, that is what fueled that quarter because they were getting a bunch of the work that Microsoft couldn't do in-house. So I for one, if you're that to me is the craziest part. We were really, really impressed with Microsoft's Azure performance. It bled through into CoreWeave's quarter, and no one cared.
So, from a technical standpoint, I would not touch this stock.
No, this is a falling knife.
Yeah, so the chart looks crappy, looks horrible. You got to wait until buyers step in and defend price. So say that CoreWeave recaptures $106. This is a previous support. Back from early August, also previous support. Back from late May, previous resistance. Back from mid-May. So wait until buyers step in. I think that this story is too sexy. I think that this dip ends up being bought up eventually, but you don't have to be a hero.
No, there's no reason to rush into this one.
Correct. You don't need to guess the bottom here. Above 105, maybe the stock can start to build up a bit of momentum and maybe a push higher. Take a look at this. I also wanted to share with you what they did on the earnings reports quickly. That was this report came out when was it? It was on Tuesday, I think.
Tuesday night.
Bro, if you believed that Crcl's growth is impressive, check on this. Look at this. So 542% year-over-year revenue growth. Take a look at this, bro. On Q4 of 2024, so on the last quarter of last year, they made $747 million of revenue. Q2 of 2025, $1.2 billion. Bro, they exceeded analysts' expectations on revenue by $200 million.
Again, I think the reason people are selling this is because of the lockup.
Unbelievable. So the only thing that matters, this is a hot and sexy AI-related story. The only real aspect that matters as of now is revenue growth. This company is executing super well on revenue growth. So unless something very bad happens to the artificial intelligence narrative, this dip ends up being bought up. I would say that with a 98% likelihood, in my opinion. So you just need to be careful because the short looks extremely horrible, and wait until others find out where the bottom is at. And just wait until
let the algorithms make the bottom for you.
Correct. So don't try to guess the bottom.
Pull up the chart one more time for me because there's just one concern I have about it.
Okay, let me see. Before we wrap it up, there you go. Okay, there you go. There it is.
So, from the peak to what is that? About $100 before the quarter.
This peak, the all-time high.
That peak to $100.
$190. So this is a.
Oh no! Move it back to before it reported, like the little where it looked like it bottomed before the quarter. Do you know? What I mean? Yeah, right there. Okay. So, it made it. You have a new high right there. You have a higher low technically, right? You have a lower high. And now it looks like you might be making a lower low.
Correct.
I don't like...
this is a lower low, yeah, for sure.
The reason this is a problem is if you're familiar with Elliott wave theory, it's that stock prices tend to move in 3 waves. 3 bullish waves followed by 3 corrective waves. If this is going to follow Elliott wave theory, this could be the second of 3 corrective waves. So you might need to see, this could take some time to bottom out, is the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah, I mean, to the downside, we can keep pointing out potential levels of interest for support. I mean, we have a very clear previous level of resistance at $65. Can CoreWeave go down to 65? It can. I mean, why not? The stock looks ugly under the total control of sellers.
If it goes to 60, that's 60. Is that a 66% decline?
No, this would be down to 65. This would be a 64% decline.
I was close.
Correct.
Close. Good math.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the dip
Dude, if it gets to
ends up being bought
65,
out before 65.
If it gets to 65, you close your eyes and buy.
Yeah, if you are an artificial intelligence bull, I guess that's what you do. I think
No.
the story is too
Why
sexy.
wouldn't
So
you? It just had a 500% growth quarter.
unbelievable. Yeah, the numbers are impressive. And take a look at this. And this also could validate the theory of buying the dip on this stock. If we take a look quickly at the revenue growth perspective on CoreWeave, take a look. Let me see if I have it available here. Take a look at this. Unbelievable.
Oh yeah.
128% year-over-year revenue growth expected for 2026 and 42% for 2027. I'm not going to say anything else because this is going to sound like financial advice. But in the current market conditions, I think that they will end up buying this dip. In my opinion, we'll see.
Well, we'll see. It's going to take some time because once something like this loses momentum, it could take a while. That quarter was so good from a revenue and growth perspective. I can't think of what a positive catalyst would be. It just needs to bottom on its own.
Correct.
It just needs time.
People need to be patient and don't try to guess a bottom here. Unless you're, I don't know, like too bullish and I don't know, you don't mind holding the bag during a long time or whatever, but
Well, no, I think again, this is not financial advice or the solicitation to make any trade, but I agree with you. There's no reason to try to be a hero here. Yeah. It's a falling knife right now.
Correct, exactly. Yeah. Just wait for others to do the hard job of finding out where the bottom is at. Okay, bro, so let's wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up. Go for it.
Yeah, so until next Thursday.
Next Thursday.
Yeah.
If you like this, subscribe. Go to my friend Alvaro at the Bilingual Stock Market channel.
The link at down in the description box.
wglasses.com. It'll be in the description. Thank you so much for stopping by. We'll see you next week.
If you guys want to hang out with us during the trading sessions, the link is in the description box of the video. Take care, guys. Enjoy.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, buddy.
Of course.
It was a pleasure.
Have a good night.
There you go.